My name's Stump, but most people know me as Jerry. It's a nickname. I live here, well, just outside of Alliance, just barely into Lexington Township. I've lived back here since 1984. Prior to that, I lived in California for 25 years. But I was born over in Salem, so it was coming home when I came back. And I've been a jack of all trades and a master of two, I guess is the way to put it. So. Well, the time right before my first heart attack, which was in 1986, I was uncomfortable laying in the bed on my chest, and it felt like I had laid too long, or I had something underneath right on my chest, and it was just a real intense pressure. And that lasted for about 3 or 4 hours before I did anything about it. And the doctors told me that it had been an angina that had turned, warning me that I was about to have a heart attack. And when I finally decided to check it out was when I had my heart attack. And then about 6 months later I had my second one. But yeah, it was an uncomfortable feeling. Just very intense pressure on my chest is the best way to describe that. So I thought maybe I had gas. So I went to the restroom. And when I came to in the restroom, I knew something else was wrong. I had went in and sat down and went out cold. For just a short while, just maybe a minute at the most. But I had kicked a support out from underneath the sink, so I knew that, and I didn't remember doing that, so I knew that I had been out. And my mother was a heart patient, so I went in and got one of her nitros and tried that. And it helped, but it didn't really get rid of the whole pressure. So then I woke some people up and said, we need to do something. Well, my mom had a major heart attack in '77. She lost 55% of the use of her heart. So my grandfather on my father's side died of a heart attack. My grandmother on my father's side died of a heart attack. My father died of a heart attack. None of the other children in my family have had any heart trouble. So, that's what happened there. But what they tell me is the reason I did have heart problems is because I was exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam. So first 2 heart attacks are my 2 heart attacks because I only had 2. Both MIs were treated here at Alliance Community. Back in the 80s, they had a Dr. Fleischer that was here, and he became my cardiologist until I moved to Cleveland. And then that was in like '87, the fall of '87, I moved up there, so then I had to change cardiologists. But yeah, my first 2 heart attacks were treated here. I never left Alliance Community for anything, any of the tests or anything. It was all done here. And during my care, my family said they were very open, very forthcoming with information as far as my condition, what they were doing, that type of thing. So afterwards, I was very comfortable. Well, I was comfortable enough that when the second one hit, I came back here instead of going elsewhere. That kind of says a lot right there. In 1986, they put some minor limits on me after my heart attacks. No stents, just minor limits. Then in 1995, I had to have a triple bypass. I had 2 complete blockages and one that was almost blocked. So they did a triple. They went in to do a quintuple, but ended up doing a triple. That was in '95. And then in 1999, I had a TIA, minor stroke. TIA is transient ischemia attack. No residual problems from that, but it scared the tar out of me when it happened because I was working. And then in 2006, I couldn't get any, I was short of breath. I was very lethargic. I slept all the time. I didn't even want to get up out of the chair. And I was having congestive heart failure. In between 2006 and 2014, I had 5 incidences of congestive heart failure. And I was in and out of Cleveland Clinic, several times then, obviously. And then in 2014, in April, they implanted a heart pump with all the luggage that comes with it, which was better than what I had, but it didn't really improve my quality of life. Just the way I felt, it made me feel better, and I was more secure with what was going on because I knew no matter what happened, that pump was going to keep kicking. on December the 4th, 2014, they implanted a new heart. Had fun with it. And all I know about the heart today is that it came from the Akron region. Now, what that is, that's basically all in northeast Ohio. But that's all I know about that heart, other than the fact that it's healthy. And since they put it in, I feel like an Energizer bunny. I don't know how else to, I got more energy than I've had in years. So it's, you know, that was definitely a plus. Well, the recovery process initially started after the heart pump was put in. I came here to Alliance Community down to the cardio rehab center, and I did Kelly kind of guided me, do this, do that, build this up, build that up, and I followed her instructions, and that helped for my recovery from the heart transplant. Even though I didn't finish that, wasn't able to finish the cardio rehab because of other issues, it had given me strength, my body strength, that when I did the heart transplant, I was actually out in 13 days, which for somebody that had a heart transplant, they hadn't had anybody get out that fast before. So that kind of tells you the process worked. Then I had to wait until the doctors up there released me to start rehab again. And I've just recently restarted rehab down here again through Alliance Center. And Kelly just looks at me and goes, "You the same guy?" Because it's made that much difference. But yeah, but if it wouldn't have been for the workout that I got down here, I wouldn't have come out of the heart transplant as easily as I did. Well, there's been a lot of changes since the heart transplant, because I had so many limitations on me with the failing heart, with the old heart, that there was just no way that there was, I mean, 10 pounds was what I was allowed to lift, period. I wasn't allowed to go over that because it put too much stress on the heart. So that was a big change right there, because now they're slowly releasing me to more and more weight, more and more activity. I'm allowed to do things, a lot of things that I couldn't do before because of the shovel snow. I mean, it's winter. I have to take small shovelfuls. I don't take a whole shovelful, but I take small shovels and I can shovel my walk now, which is something I haven't done in 28 years because they didn't want me doing it, because of the cold and the physical exertion. They didn't want me doing that. Now I can do that within moderation, but it's better than what it was. Changes to the diet started in 1986, and they haven't really changed a whole lot. Basically, not because they couldn't, but because I won't. Why? I ruined one heart. I don't want to ruin the second one. Do I eat some things I shouldn't? Sure, everybody does. But I try and do that in moderation. You know, I'm not out to dinner every night. I'm not having a steak every night. I'm watching what I eat. I keep it pretty much within the limits of a good cholesterol diet, okay, with low sodium. Because that's one of the kickers on congestive heart failure is people don't realize how much sodium retains fluids, and that's what causes the CHF. So I watch that too. A lot of things that they need to pay attention to: weight gain, lethargy, wanting to sleep all the time, no energy, chest pain, pain that radiates, all the typical symptoms that they tell you about on TV or your doctors tell you about. And then there's my symptom was I didn't have any of the pain. I just had this pressure on my chest. So if you feel like you're burning, it is the way it felt to me, like somebody was pushing hard enough to make my chest burn. You might want to get that checked out. It may be an angina or it may be a heart attack. And either way, you need to get checked out, because if you adjust for that, if it is an angina, it may save you from a heart attack, which is what the body's trying to do anyhow with the angina, is to tell you, hey, there's something wrong, you need to pay attention to it. So anytime you've got an unusual pain in the chest or the shoulders, I would say, time to go see the doctor. Or maybe, depending on how severe, maybe the emergency